And now, Rate That Album, Season 3, with Paul Muad'Dib and Joe Fremming. Two guys who know stuff.
Welcome to the first annual
Nope. There's no first annual, Paul. There's no such thing as first annual. This is the inaugural.
Fine. Welcome to the first inaugural. Is there a first inaugural, Joe?
That seems redundant, Paul.
God damn it. All right.
Inaugural implies.
Okay, fine. Welcome to the inaugural. Rate That Album, Halloween Spooktacular. There. Take 3. Hi, Joe. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing just fine, Paul. Feeling fine.
Feeling fine. Yeah, buddy. So we've decided that we were going to do the Halloween albums and just make a big long thing today. So I will put in the description where one review ends, where the next one begins. We're going to do my pick, which was Tribulation's Children of the Night album. And Joe, what was yours? Because we actually didn't announce yours last time.
Yeah. We took a week off. We just sometimes we just need to rest a little bit, Paul. Both of us have busy lives, but my pick is, I think, very apropos for this month. It is October Rust by Type O Negative.
Yes. So we'll start with Tribulation. I will put in the description the point where the Type O Negative review begins. So if you're interested, if you want to jump right to the Type O Negative because you're a big Type O Negative fan, you can go there. If you're from Sweden and you're a giant Tribulation fan, because as we're going to get into, there's kind of some complications, I guess, here in the States. So yeah, we'll go there. But Joe, this is the inaugural Spooktacular. I don't know about you, but we kind of talked about it. Halloween is my Christmas for most people. Yeah. What about you?
I love Halloween. I love it. It's fun. It's horror movies and fucking candy. It's the best. It's the best. It's one of those holidays where there's no real pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Thanksgiving and Christmas have like this family pressure where you have to put on the air. Halloween, we just kind of get to have fun.
Yes.
That's I love Halloween. I love it. I love it so much, and I love torturing my other friend, Joe Brown, on the Joe Down with Halloween month because he hates horror movies, and I love them.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big horror fan. And I've actually went back and through the Wayback Machine, which I don't think that's around anymore. Actually, maybe it is, but I went through like an internet archive thing, and I found the fan edit of Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me that meshed the missing pieces into it.
Ooh, how is that?
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
I'd imagine. It's too bad Lynch doesn't believe in director's cuts. I would love to see that, but yeah. I want it. I'll see it eventually. I just wish there'd be an official version, but again, David Lynch, the cut you get is the cut you get. That is his director's cut.
Yes. It is his director's cut. I will say it's really cool to watch together. It's very seamless. I don't know if the person did some cleaning up, because it's an older fan edit, or if they just put it out like right away when all the high def stuff. But you can, like, with a lot of edits. So for example, I've seen a fan edit of Dune, of David Lynch's Dune, and it's like an almost 4.5 hour version of it. And you can definitely tell when the other stuff comes in.
I can explain why the the Fire Walk with Me, the deleted scenes for Fire Walk with Me, the missing pieces, didn't exist until the Blu-ray era. And Lynch, cleaned that up as the missing pieces. That is probably why the quality is seamless, because he remastered those at the same time he remastered all of the Twin Peaks stuff for the complete box.
That makes sense. And yeah, and I think I told you I have the Z to A box set unopened still. And so just this time of year, February is obviously Twin Peaks month for obvious reasons, but this month, for whatever reason, I was feeling it. I'm like, I want to watch the fan edit. And so I was able to find it again and watch it. And I always just enjoy the shit out of that, because it does feel more complete. Not that it didn't beforehand, but it definitely it makes it, you could tell where there was studio interference in a way, not studio, but you and I know the tribulations of what was Fire Walk with Me, and with the missing pieces added to it, it does make it feel more complete. Yeah. So, all right. That's
while you were watching that this month, Paul, I watched Tammy and the T-Rex.
Ooh, now that's the one with Whoopi Goldberg, right?
Nope.
No.
It's Denise Richards' first movie with a young Paul Walker who gets his brain put into an animatronic Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Wow, what is the Whoopi movie I'm thinking with the dinosaur? Theodore Rex. I'm thinking of Theodore Rex. Yes, because there was Tammy with the T-Rex, there was Theodore Rex, and then there was Roller Gator and Dinosaur City. I think that all came out at the same time or around the same time. And then there was Prehysteria. Go on.
Jurassic Park was a game changer in cinema, Paul. Except the knockoffs were real bad.
Real bad. I mean, is it Mac and Me bad?
Oh, it was bad. It was not good. Shudder had the R-rated version or whatever. I guess it came out as a PG-13 movie in the 90s, and then the R-rated version Shudder put up. So yeah, it's very bizarre.
Crazy, sir. Yeah. Now, did you ever end up getting the Trauma app?
Nope.
Okay, because they have what they're called. Let me pull up here. What Traumaween. They have Traumaween, and they have some amazing things picked out for Traumaween. We're talking Mother's Day, basket case 2, 3, and 4. I didn't know there was a basket case 4, and I should know if there's a basket case 4. Just some really fascinatingly terrible Halloween movies that are just, when I say terrible, they're better than some of the things that are out there, right? But it's just that wonderful schlocky B grade. So I've been checking that out. Normally I also do Halloween. Halloween felt very light this year. I don't know if they just couldn't get the rights to shit or what's going on there. But
rights for horror movies pop up real high around October, so that's why a lot of streaming services don't carry a lot of them. So
now I'm going to ask probably the dumbest question I've ever asked you in my life. Was Tammy and the T-Rex for the Jodown?
Nope. That was just on my own. That was just on my own. Yeah. Sometimes I just go on Shudder and I just roll the dice, man.
All right. Oh, Christ. All right, Joe. Well, happy fucking Halloween, everybody. Joe's over here getting a treat.
The darkness of our lives, Paul.
Wasn't that
Tammy and the T-Rex?
Tammy and the T. Dude, I guarantee. Okay, do me a favor. Find Roller Gator and do a comparison and tell me which one was worse.
I'm not doing that, Paul.
All right, fair enough, because I got the answer for you already. It was Roller Gator. So let's get into this.
Let's get into Children of the Night, Paul.
Yeah, by Tribulation. Joe, what did you know of Tribulation prior to this pick?
Absolutely nothing, Paul.
I am not surprised. I knew absolutely nothing. So Halloween being the thing that it is, and again, we use this podcast a lot of times to not only showcase the things that we like, but as you and I have done as Porridge Radio's, I think the most recent one, something where we didn't listen to and didn't know about. We like to introduce ourselves to new things. So I went and looked for, I think I explained this, but maybe I didn't. Every Halloween, I have a Bluetooth speaker that I put on my ledge outside my house. And I usually pump through, I have a Castlevania playlist. And I wanted to do something a little bit different this year. So I was looking for Halloween theme albums, not like the schlocky, like if you go on YouTube Music or whatever, you find like haunted, like Halloween music, and it's a lot of times like just ambient sounds that like you put like in a haunted house. I wanted actual music, and this album kept popping up on every list I looked at. And I was like, I've never heard of this band. I don't know anything about it. So that's why I picked it. The reason why we really don't know much about them is they've never really been big over here in the States. They're a Swedish heavy metal band from Arvika that formed in 2005. In 2009, they released their first album called The Horror. Their second album was Formula of Death, released in 2013. That's quite a jump in time for a lot of bands from their first to their second albums. Then they went right to 2015's Children of the Night. I was like their IMDb page has nothing at all. And one of the interesting things that I had to go around and I had to look for things, and I found a interview. And it's really interesting because apparently one of the members of the band is involved in this heavy metal magazine. And like they have a big disclaimer like, hey, we know that there's some insider baseball going on here, but really this is a good thing. And they released their new album last year, 2021, called Where the Gloom Becomes Sound. But one of the big things that happened between 2015 and now is their founding member, guitarist, and songwriter, Jonathan Holton, and I'm going to guess I'm pronouncing that completely wrong, left the band. And they were kind of in turmoil on what they were going to do, if they were going to continue, what was going to go on. There isn't a lot of information about why he left the band. There's really not a whole lot out there with this band. And it seems like outside of the U.S., there seems to be a lot of accolades for them. Like they won a Grammys and things like that. But when you look at reviews of in the States, there's not a lot of love for this band. So it's really fascinating. I really would try digging more into the dynamics of it. But at the end of the day, it really was difficult to do and find. And I don't really know what that is. I have to assume that it's going to be one of the big things that you and I have a complaint with. I'm going to guess with the album as we get into it. So, Joe, let's start with your first impressions as we listen to the album. When you hear Swedish death metal band, does this fit?
Kind of. I actually really enjoyed this album, and I really don't care for almost all of Swedish death metal. So that was kind of like red flag number one. Mm-hmm. I guess not really a red flag because I enjoyed it, but it was like what stood apart was it didn't seem and feel like typical Swedish death metal to me. It felt more. Mm-hmm. There was more of an ambiance in this album for me. Mm-hmm. More atmosphere than typical Swedish death metal. So that's kind of what, and you know, my biggest gripe with death metal in general are vocals.
Yes.
It sounds like somebody's puking up glass. The vocals didn't bother me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Everything about this was kind of like, you know, not the norm for me.
And I think that's one of the big things. Like, again, you hear Swedish death metal, and I think, especially here in the States, we have a particular idea where our head goes. And I don't think this checks the box. So I'm going to assume that that's one of the things that did it. But there was something else with this album. I did find myself enjoying this way more than I thought I was going to, which was very pleasant. There's a lot of things on here I really like. There are some gripes that I have. I think my biggest gripe is that I don't think one song in this goddamn album is less than fucking 6.5 minutes, which does get a little trying as you get through. But one of the things that I'm going to go back to Ice Nine Kills that didn't work for them, that works for me in this one, is the transitions. There's a lot of movements, but where those felt forced to me with Ice Nine Kills or abrupt, they're very what I think is organic in a lot of these songs here. Would you agree, Joe?
Yeah. For me, the whole album felt like one piece in a sense, and there's a lot of things like, yeah, the changes were organic. They felt earned and more thought out, and made it feel more like classical in the changes, like more like classical music than Ice Nine Kills, which felt like it was just jump scares, but like the audio version of that.
Right. Just jarring transitions.
Yeah, jarring transitions, and like those can work. It just, for Ice Nine Kills, it didn't work for me. And here, again, it just felt like one giant piece for me, and it was like, I loved it. I just loved it. Like every minute of it. It was just like, I wish more death metal was kind of like this.
Agreed.
If you know, a little more, even just like, just little, adding little effects, like say like a wind sound, just kind of bring it, and like the organs, kind of makes it feel like a Halloween album. That shit goes a long way, man. It goes a long way on studio albums.
Yeah, it goes a long way. And I think one of the things that I really enjoyed with this as well is the lead singer, Johannes Anderson. It has, I think, a innate, talented voice for this genre and for the style of music that they do. Like, there is a puzzle piece here, and I feel like in this album, at least, and again, I don't really know their other stuff, but it goes beyond just like heavy metal, right? Like there's gothic rock in here, there's psychedelic rock in here, and his voice, where I feel like with a lot of heavy metal, it's a lot of like you could tell it's that forcing. And with this one, it feels like this is a natural spot for his voice for the most part through the album. And it blends well, really, really well with what they're doing. I guess we should just kind of dig into it. Let's start with...
I would agree. I would agree with that. Well, yeah, let's dig into it, because but that also is kind of my gripe with the album too, with the vocals, is since it all kind of sounds the same, it's hard to differentiate the tracks.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We ran into that with Julie Cruz, and like that's just what happens when you encounter an artist and stuff that really just kind of stick to a certain thing.
Yes,
it really makes it difficult, especially to review. It's not difficult to listen to. This is a very for a death metal album, it's almost kind of dreamy.
Yes. Oh, that's a great word for it.
It works. It's just, for our purposes, it makes it fucking difficult.
It does. It really, well, like, for example, and I think some people maybe got offended from our album way back when we did Kate Bush, and I made the comment of was easier when I broke it up. And it's not because when I'm listening to it, it's because we're doing it for a review. Like, we're paying attention to every little thing. And that's kind of what's happening. I do agree with you here. There was a point where I just put my car and I wasn't even going to worry about it. I had the radio turned down because I was taking a work call, and I kind of came back and I spaced the fact that we were doing a review. It was a long work call, and I was just listening to it, and I was like, oh, this is really good. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to review it. And now I'm methodically listening to it, and it does change the dynamic 100%.
Yeah, it'd be like reviewing a jazz album. It's tough. It's like a certain type of thing that's just kind of tough. But I did really enjoy this. So let's go into the tracks. Again, it's gonna be hard for me to differentiate. I'm sure you'll be able to fill in some blank spots for me. So let's get into it.
I think we're both going to be in this problem, but let's get into it.
Well, I'm putting it all on you, Paul.
Okay, fair enough. It was my pick. So we got Strange Gateways Beckons, and I think this is a great setup for the album.
Great opening track. It especially for we're doing Halloween month.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Halloween song.
This is a Halloween song.
This organ and the wind sound, like fuck, chef's kiss, man. Like they nailed it.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like I knew right away when I was listening, I'm like, okay, I like when that first track opened up, I was like, I know why this is on all the lists. And this is great. And the vocals, you can understand what he's singing and saying. That's one of my big complaints with heavy metal. I know there's a time and place for ones that don't work. I mean, that don't, you can't tell what they're saying. It's just to go and be an instrument of itself to make the music. But here, especially the sound with the Halloween thing, beckoning, the children of the night, the spirits of the undead, and the lesser lights. Now the time has come to reach out. We must heed their calls when strange gateways beckon. It's really good.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I was a little relieved, honestly, when this is how the first track went, because I was like, even if it goes downhill from here, like at least I have one song that I really enjoyed, because again, death metal is not my genre. It just is. It's just not what I gravitate to. So I was pleasantly surprised by this.
Yeah, I wouldn't, and I think again, this is probably why it didn't and doesn't do well here in the States, is because it's not your typical death metal. You hear death metal bands, you go, I know what I'm getting into. You put this in, and it's the Misfits on crack, but with fucking Vandergut writing the lyrics. It's weird.
Yeah, but it's a weird thing too, because metalheads are like some of the most open-minded, closed-minded people.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
It's just like it's the weirdest dynamic. I'm not even going to pretend to understand it. Like, metalheads, I love you, but you're fucking weird.
Mm-hmm. Now we got Melancholia, which is another one. Throughout these things,
this one had a riff I really liked.
It's such a good riff, and the movements, the actual movements, the classical going from the different places, and whoever's the pianist on this album as well is unsung hero.
There's a piano on this.
There's a piano, and it's good. It's a gothic piano. I don't want to make it just like it's fucking Elton John. No, this is like gothic. Phantom of the Opera.
Honestly, Paul, now I'm thinking like an Elton John style piano and death metal would be fucking amazing.
Fucker, I took a drink. It's the pinball wizard.
The bitch is back.
The bitch is back. Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
Tiny Danzig.
Hold me through the night, and mercy on.
Oh, great. Now we're going to get hit with a copyright.
Our first strike. We're real YouTubers. This was a great one. And again, the lyrics, it drips Halloween. Ephemeral soundscapes, everlasting beauty and despair, spirits slipping out from my dreams, ephemeral landscapes, melancholy lingers in the air, nostalgia spilling forth from my dreams. My mind is a staircase. I'm going up and beyond. I'm falling down. Black pools. I travel through time. I am just getting Vincent Price level vibes, and it's wonderful.
Absolutely. This is a fantastic, like, not only just like a metal album that, again, like I like metal. Again, there's so many subgenres of metal that whatever, but like this was pleasantly surprising. Like I was like, I can listen to this and not be like really annoyed because I can't understand the lyrics, and I truly appreciate it. I wish more was kind of like, I mean, they're on my playlist now, Paul, because like I want to listen.
Yay.
Because they're good. They're good, people.
I did good bringing this one. This makes
people listen to Tribulation. God damn it.
Yeah, this is Tribulation. God damn it, Jim. And you let me bring out Gilmer's solo album. Let me get the Dreams of the Dead. Now, this is where I got a little concerned because it is starting to kind of, as a review standpoint, I'm going, oh, this is going to be difficult. Yep. Because this is when it hits me. It's like, this is it. This is all we're really getting throughout this entire album. It's
perfect for this album, but like for reviewing, there's just not a lot of. Again, it's just like it doesn't. Nothing really pops out. It just blends, and that's fine because it's what this album's doing, and I love it. It's hard for us to review it.
Yes, but we're gonna punch forth instead of punching down. We're gonna punch through. This one again. What stood out to me with this one, getting away from the vocals a little bit, although the lyrics again are still very good, is again the movements and how the movements flow in a way that I'm like, man, these guys are really talented. The sit there and take these and make these feel like organic movements instead of the jarring movements that I sometimes feel with longer runtime death metal songs. Open the floodgates in the womb of the world to the dreams of the dead, ride the storms or the seas of the chaos world in the dreams of the dead. Like that just screams giallo to me, like Italian giallo horror, Balto and all that stuff. It's fantastic. Really enjoyed it. But again, lyric, I mean, and then Wins, the next one kicks in. Then Wins kicks in, I'm like, yep.
Yep. This is like, yeah, this is what it's gonna be.
Yep.
And that's when I started panicking about what the fuck we're gonna talk about.
Yep. I did the same thing, Joe.
That moment of dread where you're just like, oh shit, we gotta talk about it. Like I'm enjoying it, but we gotta figure out what the fuck.
We gotta figure out how to make this entertaining for you guys to listen to.
Hey, everybody, remember talking about Elton John being in death metal? That was something.
Betty and the Jets. Winds take me on. I wring my body to lose control. Through the music violence, I bear my soul. Ill will is the fuel that has the flow. The opposition, the friction that allows minds to grow. My God, man, it's like Poe. Like, this guy's a really strong lyricist.
Yeah, he creates a lot of great imagery. And again, Porridge Radio, take a songwriting credit from even death metal. Like, not a whole lot of I's and me's and you's in this. That's for sure.
I'm looking at it, and I've got the lyrics in front of me. And the thing is, there is, but there's a lot more of other things. Again, there's a way to break the glass. I found a hole in the black mass. There's a place where one will learn to see, to glimpse the vast. Like, fuck, man. This guy needs, like, I pictured like Danzig on like Beat Night Poetry Night.
Oh yeah.
Like people, yeah, he's so deep. But it's so good. That exactly that, but saying like I am, or my, me, my, me, my, and then going into something else, then going back to the me, I, my's, does not take away from the fact that you still have the I, me, I's. This is, yes, take a songwriting credit from this guy, a class, and learn how to do it. And again, the piano, I love it. Next we get
what was that, Paul?
We get
excuse me. I didn't quite catch that, Paul.
This is not a real word. Thank the fuck Christ. I looked this up, and even the guy doing another review of this album was like, this is not a real word. I don't know how they want us to pronounce it. I'm thinking it's pronounced this way, but I could be really wrong. This is an instrumental, and my God, I listened to this song. The first time I listened, I actually restarted it.
Yep,
and was
this
like,
is my favorite song on the album. Ironically, the one that neither of us can pronounce. I'm just going to call it track 5.
Yeah, it's track 5. It's an instrumental, and it is a strong Halloween-themed, dark, brooding, gothic, beautiful, sad soul of a song.
Oh yeah. This is I loved it. I was on board here, but again, it's all kind of bleeds into each other, so it's just like it's a whole piece in my mind. So it's just this is kind of like the instrumental break.
Yeah, and I think the fact of looking at the album front to back as a long piece of music is the way to go. Yeah. Joe, you and I, we've dabbled and said there's no such thing as the perfect album. And there isn't, just because there's always these little things. But when you look at what they accomplished here, it does feel like a masterpiece class of what would be. I mean, if you took away the vocals, I think this could truly have been made like 300 years ago, not with the electric guitars and things like that. But if someone had wrote this would be classical pieces of music that would be in the public domain's sphere for years.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm not just making that up. Like, it is some high praise artistry here.
This is fucking solid.
It really, really is. But getting to the lyrics again, blessed be the hand. This is for motherhood of God. Blessed be the hands who touches fire. Blessed be the death that takes you higher. Whatever your faith is, that verily is you. The crack in the skull, the knife that cuts you through. Holy blossom, sacred space, chthonic powers, descending grace, supreme mother to the orphans of God in the shadowlands of the world, your deities abound. Obviously, it's a Cthulhu H.P. Lovecraft piece, and it is great. Then we move to Strains of Horror. This one, I think, was a little stuttery, but still solid for what the themes it was giving. Oh, the horror by dread I seize, the terror of my dreams released. I die and die yet again on my way towards my fate, the last of ends, the end of the tunnel I see, a faint glow far away calling me. I must squeeze myself through this narrowness towards the other side, striving angst and a sudden empowerment, and I am through. Really great, just, again, visual, telling the story and making this creepy, claustrophobic sense of death.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Another one I really like, number 8, Holy Libations.
Yes, this was good. This
is a great song.
Yeah, we're like pretty much on the same page with this song.
We really are, Joe. That does not happen often, no. Especially ones you and I have never listened to like before. We usually have like wide varying tastes on it. This is such a great song. And again, if I remember correctly, the piano in here kicks in. There's almost like a piano solo type part, and it's so gorgeous.
Yeah, it's hard for me to differentiate a lot of this. I'm glad you were able to sit down, be able to do that, because I see it as like one giant piece. But yeah, it's all fantastic. It's hard for me to throw in my 2 cents. Damn it.
Sorry, Joe. Lyrics for this one. I catacombs. I dance the dance of death. I run away from fear. Tilio tempor. Was that so? Where do we go from here? We are naked in the darkness. We are one. Yet there is solitary in the vast expanse of mind, the threshold to eternity. We find ourselves wandering through the pastures of Arcadian splendor. We are going through time before time. Remember, through the vastness of time alone, through the vastness I climb alone, ever closing in on the shadows of the strange attractor, our return to a paradise that we have lost. So great. which then slides into Claudia Pavonis, which is another instrumental, which is, again, another solid fucking instrumental, Joe.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for instrumentals, Paul. Especially when I struggle with the vocals, but, I didn't struggle with the vocals as much on this album, like I said, but, man, I would love, I like the vocals, but I would absolutely kill for an instrumental version of this whole album.
Yeah, much like we talked about with the
This Mortal Coil. Yeah.
This Mortal Coil. Yeah, It'll End in Tears. Yeah. And then we get music from the other side, which originally is the end of the album. And again, solid, great way to end the album. The last 4 lines of the lyrics: death, silence, life, the sky. Like, it just kind of punctuates it, which, although the version I listened to, Joe, I'm thinking you would listen to the same one where you had the bonus tracks, the 2 bonus tracks on it, which had 100 Years, which was a Cure cover.
Nope, I only had music from the other. That's where it ended.
Okay, so I will tell you, I am a big Cure fan. It's hard for me when someone does it. I like the way they do it, but I struggle with, if you're going to do something gothic or like the Cure, something as timeless as the Cure or as memorable as the Cure, you better goddamn have a different way of making it more impactful. And that didn't match my criteria. Then there was Laudium Dreams. I'm glad these were bonus tracks, and I think this for me, it was really these last 2 tracks where it fell apart. But knowing that they were bonus tracks, it was kind of like, okay, whatever. So I'm just going to stop right there, and I'm just going to say, let's leave it from music from the other. That is the thing. Now, it didn't do well here in the States. I mean, I never heard of this album.
It seems weird. I mean, it's so well produced. So well performed. Is it because did they not tour the States? Like, is that something that they were just not able to do?
I don't know. I mean, Decibel, which is a music source I'm not familiar, a magazine, heavy metal magazine that's kind of an underground one, gave it 9.5, 9 out of 10. Pitchfork gave it an 8.4 out of 10. Sputnik Music gave it 4 out of 5. But that's all who reviewed it. So I don't know if they couldn't come out here, like if they didn't have the money for it. Pitchfork called it the number 2 on their best heavy metal albums of 2015. Spin magazine later, down on the road when they're doing a thing, put this in the top number 6 on the top 20 best metal albums of 2015. So either 2015 was a banner fucking year for heavy metal music, or I don't get it. Like, this should have gotten way more things. And the only thing I can think of was that it may be because the album itself, the title, The Creatures of the Night, Children of the Night, people, there's speculation of, that's a nod to Kiss.
Oh, The Creatures of the Night.
Yes.
Why would you do a nod to that album? That's
right. So just to give you an idea, because I'm going through Rolling Stone top 20 best metal albums of 2015. Cloud Rat, Ghost, Clutch, Death Haven, Lamb of God 7, which was a really good album. Slayer, Repent. Yeah, Slayer came out with it.
Weirded out when Clutch is on metal album lists.
No, isn't
they're
that?
A great band. I've seen them live, but I don't know if they're. I'd say they're more hard rock.
Yeah,
a lot of jammy stuff too, which is.
I don't.
Live. Yeah,
I'm with you on that. It kind of feels like people throw them there because in order to make lists like this, like, let's just throw this on there because I can call in that category.
I mean, I love Clutch. Don't get me wrong, but it just seems weird.
Yeah. Then the Leviathan, Revenge. Napalm Death, Apex Predator, which was Easy Meat, which was a really good album. Mets, Killing Joke, Pylon, which was a really good album. Bastinagi, Royal Thunder, Baroness, Refuse, Iron Maiden's The Book of Souls came out that year. High on Fire, Tau Cross, Faith No More, Sol Invictus came out. And then Pale Emperor by Marilyn Manson came out that year. Rolling Stone does not have this on their list. Now, to compare it to Pitchfork, who did, we'll do their top 20, which was Pinkish Black, Vastum, High on Fire, Kulon Walled City, Valhalla, Skepticism, Paradise Lost, Bastonagi, Parent, Lochran, Sonhead. I'm totally fucking up a lot of these names here, and
I think we get it. It's a lot of
Baroness.
It seemed like it's overlooked, except for like hipster weirdos like us. And
must have been. I mean, according to Pitchfork, Def Hayden's New Bermuda, which was a good album. It was a great album, is number 1 on that list, with Tribulation being behind that, where Rolling Stone put the Death Haven album far lower at number 17, the New Bermuda album. So, yeah, I have to think that there was some kind of money issue or thing like that on the table.
Yeah, it might have been tough to promote it or something. I don't know. I mean, this feels like this is right up everybody's alley in the States for metal. It feels like it should have a home. I loved it. I know a lot of people who are into metal would probably love it. So I'm so confused.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. So that was the Tribulation album. I would like to see these guys go through more. It will be interesting to see where they were at with now losing that strong lead songwriter.
Yeah, it's hard when you lose the visionary of your band. It's always an uphill battle. Like we've talked about it in many bands.
Yes.
We've done many reviews when they lose the visionary. It's it does not always go well for people.
No, it doesn't. I mean, the Clash.
Yeah.
The Clash.
Momentary lapse of reason.
Oh God, don't.
Gilmer.
God damn it, Gilmer! Get your matches off my fucking album cover. All right, bud. So, one done on the Inaugural. Rate that album, Halloween Spooktacular. Joe, I am now going to take a step back, give my voice some time to rest, and let you take over with your pick, Typo Negative, October Rust. Take it away, sir.
Yeah, so I picked this album, one, because I haven't heard it in probably over 20 years, Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me neither.
So this was a big album when we were in high school.
God.
This album and the album before it, Bloody Kisses.
Bloody Kisses.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I was like, I haven't listened to that, and they were kind of Halloween-ish and, whatever, metal, and very much of the theme of this. So I was doing some research on them, because I'm like, yeah, they were popular in our high school, but they probably weren't that big. I was very wrong, Paul. Bloody Kisses went platinum.
That does not surprise me.
And October Rust went gold. So I was just like, huh. My memory of this band was very just wrong. Where they were in pop culture.
No, dude,
they were like this little popular band that everybody in St. Cloud liked because they played the Armory that one time that everybody but me went to.
That's right.
They played the Armory, and then the next day everybody had Typo Negative CDs and shirts.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that. You know what? I missed it too.
So you and I missed the classic Typo Negative concert of '96. I think
we did. We did.
'97 might have been '97. I don't.
I will say, in my defense, though, one thing I didn't miss was the classic wonderful, not a surf show at the Java joint where my buddy who was booking Mitch convinced them it was a much larger venue than they thought they were getting into. They were not thrilled.
Oh, I'd imagine not. So I went with this, and it's been, again, 20 years since I've heard this album. A lot has happened in the 20 years. They released albums I didn't even really know about. Lead singer Peter Steele passed away in 2010.
Yeah,
Did know about that.
I knew about that. Yeah.
The girls I knew in high school all had a huge crush on Peter Steele.
Oh gosh, yes.
But if you see his picture in Playgirl magazine, you'll understand why.
Yeah, I think my friend Jenny, she was all about them. My ex-girlfriend Ellen was all about them. There was a couple other girls that you and I know that were all about Typo Negative and Steele. Oh yeah. He was. I mean, there's been a few guys here and there over the years, and I will say that he was one of those just charismatic dudes.
Oh yeah.
That he was easy on the eyes. Like as a guy too, he's easy on the eyes.
I'd be hard pressed. I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure he was also the basis for the lead singer in Metalocalypse's Death Clock. He looks just a splitting image of Peter Steele.
I believe he was a
one of the influences.
The influence, absolutely.
The influence, yeah.
The influence.
He has a very distinct voice. So the Typo Negative is basically a gothic metal, doom metal, industrial band. Started in the late 80s. They're from New York. You'd be... don't let the fake Transylvania accents fool you. The Spooktacular. So I decided to listen to them for the first time in 2 decades, Paul, and I figured, what the hell, I'd rope you in on this.
I'm down for the ride. I want to be in your Playgirl magazine. Yeah, no, I'm down. I'm down, dude.
So October Rust is a little different from the Bloody Kisses was more heavy metal, blah blah blah.
Yep.
I did not remember this going into it, but this is very much more proggy and ballady.
Very prog. Very. I do not remember the first 2 tracks.
I remember being thanked for buying the album, Paul. Something that's lost on the kids these days.
I don't remember that because I remember the music, but yeah, I don't remember being thanked for buying the album. But again,
twice you get thanked twice.
You get you do get thanked twice. You get thanked at the end as well, which is an odd way of
hey, you know what? I appreciate being thanked for buying physical media.
100%. And again, this was 1996, which is probably the I probably haven't listened to it since 1997.
Yeah, that's probably where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
Too. So, but so this is more mellow, proggy, ballady, very, very, almost like Victorian vampire vibes, like with the lyrics and the imagery. But so why don't we get into the
100%
October Rust by Typo Negative, Paul?
Yes.
So the first track is Bad Ground. It's a joke track. It's just kind of feedback.
I was having Lou Reed flashbacks.
Yeah. Yeah. Except Lou Reed didn't thank you for buying his albums.
No, he never would.
Like Typo Negative's a little more stand-up New Yorkers. They'll thank you for that. And that's another track number 2 is Untitled. They talk about happy about the album. They're really high making it. You can tell because it's very proggy, and I'm all right with that. They're like one of those weird bands that I can't really you can't really fit them in a especially this album. Maybe
Yeah.
this one's kind of hard to put in a box because it's kind of all over.
I have a feeling, you and I talked about it with Danzig 3 when, with a couple of the tracks where it's like they started getting to the point where you just were doing what they wanted to do. And I feel like that this is the Bloody Kisses was the start of that. And then, if I remember correctly, and then this really October Rust was like, okay, we've made our money. We're doing our thing. We're going to start making the music we want to make.
Yeah. And they sure did. And it's wild to think that a vampire themed doom metal band would go platinum because in this day and age, that's just not going to happen.
It was a different time, folks.
Yeah, we were very spoiled in the 90s.
We were very spoiled in the 90s, dude. We were very spoiled in the 90s.
So let's start the album proper on track 3. It's Love You to Death, which is kind of again, it's ballady and stuff, but I would say solid start because again, there's a lot. Like Danzig, Peter Steele had a real knack for pop sensibilities.
100%. Yes. And I'll give you some of the lyrics here. Her hips move and I can feel what they're saying, swaying. Yeah. They say the beast inside me is going to get you. Yeah.
But he also does a lot of imagery. In her place, 100 candles burning. A salty sweat drips from her breast.
Yeah.
Black lipstick stains her glass of red wine. Like, again,
I'm your servant. May I have your cigarette?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's creating very visual.
Let's also call this album for what it is. It's horny.
Oh, it's very horny.
It's a very horny album.
Paul, I miss horny albums. I feel like in this day and age, we live in a sexless, unhorny world where music is just plastic and sad.
That's why I actually appreciate Cardi B.
Yeah, I do appreciate Cardi B and WAP and all that.
Because, oh my God.
Fuck, you're not getting that from rock anymore.
No, you're not.
Rock is like being made by eunuchs now.
It's sad. Yeah, I miss the emotion, whether it be horny, angry, whatever. But yeah, this is a very, very horny album.
As it should be, Paul. But yeah, it's a good start to this album because again, it's really catchy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we really get to the most explicit of the horniness next is with Be My Druidess.
Whoa, this is just fucking on vinyl.
Oh man, like I needed to fan myself off a little. I was listening to this driving in the car. I'm like, oh boy, I'm getting verklempt here.
Yeah, it's not quite Girls of Porn by Mr. Bungle, but it sure is something.
Like Two Live Crew, but yeah, Peter Steele is one horny man.
Again, the cock the size of a fucking forearm, you're gonna be.
He's swinging a sledgehammer down there.
He and Peter Gabriel, like sledgehammer, yeah.
Oh, woo,
oof.
But yeah, again, this is like
I don't even want to say.
I'm not saying it, Paul.
I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to get to that part. But I will tease up to it. But if you guys really want to know, listen to the album. But lyrics such as, I look deeply in your eyes, I smell your hair, caress your thighs. Now we'll make love by the firelight, a blaze so high it lights the night. Long fingernails dug in my skin, yourself so wet invites me in. It just goes from there.
Yeah. Woo!
He was singing this for the groupies, by the way.
Getting warm in here, Paul, huh?
I guarantee you, I'm gonna call a spade here. I bet you he would close the fucking shows with this song, would pick a girl in the front 3 rows and sing it at her every fucking tour date. Guaranteed.
As he
should, for fuck's sake. It was 1996. Get your dick strong.
All right. Now we kind of take a left turn, Paul, with Green. Yeah. We kind of like the themes in this album seem to be sex, nature,
weed. I think it's weed. A lot of
weed, sex, and nature. very kind of just paganish, I guess.
Pagan is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this was actually Green Man's my favorite song.
It's so good. It really is a great song.
Yeah, because it gets more rockin' and it still keeps like the imagery, like autumn in her flaming dress of orange, brown, gold fallen leaves. My mistress of frigid night, I worship, pray on my knees. Like he's like, he could string a word, and I like the instruments. I forgot how tight this album was musically.
Mm-hmm.
With like keyboards, and like the guitars aren't overbearing, which is weird for a metal band.
Very weird for a metal band. But again, I think they were doing their own thing by this time, Joe.
Yeah, I think so too. And plus, like when I think of Green Man now, I think of Charlie from It's Always Sunny. When he wears a skin tight green lizard man, am I standing in my own poop?
So good. Yeah, no, and again, as you talk about the pagan, life is coming to an end, so says me, my Wiccan friend. Nature coming full circle. Winter's breath of filthy snow, befrost paths up to the unknown. Have my lips turned true purple. I'm the Green Man. The Green Man. Yeah. Yep.
Again, and it's catchy. That's the weird part. Is like you would expect like maybe gothy and stuff like that to just be like, and what's considered like doom and what to be kind of droning, and it does get like that, but it's still fucking poppy.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, man. It's weird.
Yeah, it's different, but it's there, and it works. It works, but the album, it's like coming from something like Tribulation, where it's like such a amazing just piece of music throughout the entire thing, which obviously this isn't going to be, but there are some jarring discrepancies. And I will say one negative that I do have, and I struggle with some bands like this, and Typo Negative was one of them, is where the voice is that falsetto low. And I do kind of struggle with that a little bit throughout the entire album.
My problem with the vocals, it sounded like he had vampire teeth in when he was singing sometimes.
Yeah. No,
and that was kind of distracting. Like he had a solid enough voice that I don't think he really needed to rely on that, because that was kind of like a gimmick.
Yeah, it was a gimmick, and that's my thing. Yeah,
that's what I think. But I think because he has a strong voice.
He does.
It seems weird. Seems weird that they would lean into it, because it is getting a little distracting for me. This is not a perfect album, but it's solid in its other ways. So let's get to Melania's Christmas song, Paul. Red Water, Christmas Morning. This reminds me of Melania Trump's blood red Christmas tree.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Like the whole time I was like, just like listen to this song, like Melania Trump, this is her Christmas song. This is, while other people listen to Jingle Bells, she's listening to Red Water.
Red Water, she's fucking pounding her box wine.
Oh, mistletoe, I'm seeing ghosts.
Red water, glug. Red water, glug. Red water, chase them away. Glug, 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 glug. Yeah, it's a whatever song. I didn't do much for me.
No, it's fine. There's a few other ones on here that I feel the exact same way about, Paul. Like I feel like maybe their ambition was too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they didn't focus enough on it, and I feel like that was one of them. Like I like the theme.
Yeah, I like the theme.
Wish it would have gone a little bit more into, focused on a chorus or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right, Paul.
Yep, this is it.
Now let's get back into Hornyville. With
this was one of the singles, man.
This was a big song, and if you think about it, it's probably like, I can't remember like a Polly song before this. Maybe you know of one, because this feels like a Polly, like a version of Polly. Like,
oh no, this is a Polly song.
Polly song, yeah. I'm not. I don't know enough, but it feels like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. This is.
It's hilarious too. But it's just we're back in Horn Dog Town.
Oh, and again, this was, if I remember correctly, a single that had was on the A side, and then there was 2 weird bonus tracks on it. If I remember correctly, it was him on top of 2 girls. For
It's
the
meat triangle. Paul.
It's the meat triangle.
This is a good song. This is basically it's my girlfriend's girlfriend. She looks like you. My girlfriend's girlfriend. She's my girl too.
Yeah. Let's get to it. They keep me warm on cold nights. We must be quite a sight in our meat triangle, all entangled. Wow. Yeah, this was a big track. A lot of people were like,
Yep.
Yeah.
We're on that right now. We're doing it. We're 40 years old, and we're over here like boobs.
Boobs. Boobs, big dick and boobs. Yeah, it's I guess I remember this one being the one that people this was the song they talked about off this album. Yeah. For better or worse, I actually wonder if it was kind of a curse, because this is kind of a jokey song in that regard. It's him being horny. Again, it's something he put at the end of the night. Yeah. But it became the most talked about song, and I honestly think this might be why it went gold instead of platinum, because you had that. If I remember, October Rust was really when Typo Negative fans started to turn on Typo Negative. They've gone soft, they've sold out, they're not, blah blah blah. And it wasn't them; it was them going, look, we did what we wanted to do here. We stretched ourselves musically. They basically were doing it. It was an unsuccessful Radiohead maneuver, where Radiohead was like, hey, we've done everything we can over here. Now we're going to go over here. We're going to rock it over here. Where Typo Negative, I think, faltered in that step because they didn't have enough of something that wasn't the hardcore metal people to keep the people that were interested in some of the more novelty stuff they were doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But kudos to them doing what they wanted to do.
Absolutely. Yes.
It just wasn't enough on here. It went gold, so it's not like it fucking shit the bed. It didn't go.
No, but when you go from platinum to gold, there's a misstep.
Yeah, a lot of sophomore albums do that, though.
True.
This is their sophomore album. This is their 4th album, but the big album. It's hard to follow up a big album.
It is.
I couldn't follow up the OK Computer at the time. If you remember Kid A and Amnesiac, people hated it.
Well, if I remember, Kid A, people hated it, but Kid A sold well. Amnesiac sold for shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean. I think what happened was with Bloody Kisses, people were like, ooh, I think they started to make that shift. And I think some of the more hardcore fans, their first 2 albums were like, ooh, this is a shift. I'm going to wait and see what people say about October Rust. And then when oh, it's more of the same, I'm not going to buy it. I think Metallica went through that with Loaded and Reloaded. Right? People bought a bunch of Loaded and this isn't what we want Metallica for. We'll wait for Reload. And then the reviews for Reload came out and it's really just a B-side to Load. And a lot of the metalheads went, fuck that, I'm out.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think it's the same story here. Which is, again, do what you want to do. You made your fucking millions. You do what you want to do.
Exactly. And they did. And I'm always glad when we've brought this up with Miley Cyrus too. When you start straying and doing your own thing, you get a lot more I have a lot more respect for that than doing the same old, because that's what's expected.
100%.
That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And so we follow, and again, and even the novelty song, it's like Zappa with his novelty songs. It probably irked him a lot that Why Does It Hurt When I Pee and Don't Eat the Yellow Snow were his big hits, but
when he had much more meatier tracks and things that were much more substance that he wanted to be doing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So now
Joe,
we have
Die With Me.
This goes back. This is another one of those. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, this is an okay song.
Me, honestly.
Yep. This one's a take it or leave it. I kind of felt like a filler song.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, okay, we're getting to track 8. We're starting to get filler.
Yeah, and we get that with the next track, Burnt Flowers Fallen. These are fine songs that just
Apparently, his girlfriend's girlfriend got pissed at him.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, Paul. Relationships are tough enough with two people. I couldn't imagine a third.
It's not something that I think I could handle emotionally in terms of yeah, it's I mean, I get it. I guess I should say, I mean, I get it to a degree, but when you're having the meat triangles, that's always kind of a problem. Like,
yeah,
and to be real, like with most poly, it's very separate, and I think that's where it works better. But once you get those guys and you get those girls, are like, I just want to have a fuck meat sandwich, and I think that's when you start to have the poly problems.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah. Keep your baggage separate.
All right. Yep. I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. Follow that up with In Praise of Bacchus.
The Praise of Bacchus.
Hey, Bacchus, she hates me. Hey, Bacchus, she hates me. Yeah, she's still mad at him, Paul.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is now I know Bacchus very well. I went through my Wiccan, my magic phase, and I've never always, I wouldn't say I've ever been completely out of it, but I'm also a man of science. Bacchus is the god of wine and debauchery. Like, why the fuck is he singing the Bacchus about her hating him and it being like a sad song? That's not what you sing the Bacchus about. You sing the Bacchus about getting hammered and fucking everything that moves.
Yeah, I think he'd be singing a Bacchus during My Girlfriend's Girlfriend, right?
Exactly. Yeah, bring up Bacchus and My Girlfriend's Girlfriend. Like, now you're living it, man. You're fucking Dionysus. You're fucking living it. No. This one, like, I was like, Bacchus? Like, is he just name dropping fucking gods now?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, most people probably wouldn't know the difference, Paul. I wouldn't have known the difference. It's just whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's
fair enough.
Vampire themed prog metal album, Paul. I'm not gonna.
I'm just saying, I know my shit, and Bacchus is not the person you should be singing to on this goddamn song. So move along, chucklehead.
Next we have a very interesting cover of Neil Young's "Cinnamon Girl." This was another single off the album.
It was. I hate it.
I like it. I like Neil Young.
I love Neil Young, and I love that song. That song was just, it's one, like, their song, like, I get it, but again, if you're gonna do it, make it interesting, and this wasn't interesting to me. It was like, okay, this is just like, what was it? Was it Disturbed that did A Sound of Silence? And I actually like that version of it because it is such a different take, and it's not
really
just,
I hate that version.
See, and my thing is, it's not like a Disturbed version of the song. It's like a different version of the song. For me, it's like, okay, yeah, this is something you do live for the audience. I didn't feel like it's something you put on an album. I don't know. It wasn't unique enough. And I really like where Cinnamon Girl goes. And so when it's not going to those places and not going to a place that I necessarily enjoy musically or notes I enjoy musically, yeah, that's me.
I liked it, and I hated Disturbed's cover, so
fair enough. Again, guys, we don't always agree on things like we did in Tribulation. Like, that's a fucking, I think I could count on one hand the number of times you and I have completely down a line agreed on an album.
Yeah, no, it doesn't happen too often. I do like a lot the next track.
Yes.
The glorious liberation of the People's Technocratic Republic of Vinland by the combined forces of the United Territories of Europa.
Don't tell me that Borat was not a fucking Typo Negative fan. That Sacha Baron Cohen did not think of that, look at that album and go, I'm going to make a movie with a title like that.
This is a weird instrumental, very military sounding, as you would expect. I like it. It's just like a weird.
It's a weird song, and I enjoy it. It's something
like very. I mean, this is very Eastern European, like fucking shithole.
It is, and
old Russia propaganda stuff.
And again, it's a novelty song, and where have we been leaning towards this entire album? The novelty songs for the most part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So then we got Wolf Moon, including Zoanthropic Paranoia. This was another one. Like, you know, it's fine.
It falls into that trope, Joe, that I don't like of lyrics repeating lyrics. And I get it, you know, pop sensibility, that type of thing. But my God, I don't need 4 fucking things of, hey, Wolfman, come cast your spell on me. Hey, Wolfman, come cast your spell on me. Hey, Wolfman, come. Jesus Christ, shut up. We get it.
Oh, man, you probably hate Hey You by Pink Floyd. Hey, come on, what's with all the Hey Yous?
Oh, God. That's a little different. There's an actual story being told there of emotional and other lyrics that are going into it.
Saying Hey You out there, you jerk.
No,
Goddamn Waters.
Goddamn Waters.
Is there anybody out there? He keeps just asking that like a weirdo.
No, it's just, you know, like beware the woods at night, beware the lunar light. Like it very much like there's, I think 3 times like right in a row those things are done, or not in a row, but you know what I mean? Like there's one thing of lyrics and then it's right back to Hey Wolfman, and then it's beware that like the woods at night, and then there's another thing and it's right back to Hey Wolfman, beware the woods at night, and it's like, oh my God, okay, I get it. Yeah. That's me.
Why isn't there anybody out there? I get it, damn it, Floyd.
Who's this fucking Vera Lynn he keeps talking about?
God damn it.
God damn it. Vera fucking Lynn. Someone go find this bitch and shut him up.
And then basically the album ends on Haunted. I like this song. For the slower songs, I think it does the job.
Yeah, you know me. I tend to gravitate towards the slower stuff.
A lot of these are slower, but this one's, for me, it felt a little more interesting and I had going on to it. And I think that's a better way to end it than the other songs that we kind of, our eyes glazed over with.
Yeah, you know, I will say, like, so yeah, my younger time, like with Pink Floyd, right, like Dogs and Adam Hart Mother, you know, those 18-minute, those 20-some minute track songs. As I've gotten older, I've struggled a little bit more with those things. A 10-minute track is a little challenging for me in my 40s. However, I did really like this one. I think this is a great one, and you know, really, you should end the album there, but Joe, they don't.
No, they do the outro where they thank us again for buying the album. Like, we get it. You sound a little needy now, but all right.
I don't think there was a thank you said there. If I remember, that's it. That's all we have. I hope it wasn't too disappointing. We'll see you on tour. Take it easy. Like,
it's a weird way.
It's a weird way to end the album. Yeah, you know, I mean, if you're gonna do like a secret track, like that would make sense, you know, like Cracker, where they have like 99 tracks, and like, you know, one of their best songs I think that they wrote, which was Euro Trash Girl, is like track number 68 or 69. You know, I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, and then, you know, like track 45, you have this thank you, and then you have like another hidden track at like 80 something. Okay, makes a little sense, but to just end a 15 track album with 3 short things, I feel like it was like, were they obligated by the studio? Like, give us 15 tracks. We'll give you 15 fucking tracks.
It could have been like, that could have been them thumbing their nose at it.
I that's the vibe I got. I was like, all right, someone told them they had to have 15 because of whatever number, or like the studio wanted this.
Yeah, because that's weird, because even with the you count out the 3 tracks, it's still a 12-track album. That should, maybe they needed to get it over 70 minutes.
I don't know. I have to guess that there was something contractually, or somebody said somewhere 15 tracks or so many minutes or something, because it just doesn't make sense.
No. I mean, everything else is like so tight, so it seems weird that that's how they'd end the album. But I guess I'll leave it to the suits in Washington to figure that one out.
Yeah, no. So, Joe, what was the aftermath of this album for them?
Oh, this was you know, they did well, and they continued touring. Funny thing, October Rust was well received by critics. Mm-hmm. Black Sabbath's drummer Bill Ward ranked it as one of his favorite metal albums of all time.
Good for him. Good for them. And then what was it? What was the next one? Was that
World Coming Down?
Yeah,
that was a bad one.
That was a bad album. Yeah. That was not a good album.
I remember my friend bought that and we sat and listened to it in his room, and I was just like, this is not good.
I remember
I didn't listen to anything after it. Maybe I will at some point, but I'm just I think Bloody Kisses and October Rust were, I mean, if you have two solid albums like that, you did a good job. So, I mean, I don't really need to stray beyond those.
No, yeah. And if I remember, I think, fuck. I thought there was another one that was really bad. Life is Killing Me. I remember that one because everyone was like, oh, this is going to be, a lot of people were hyping it up as Typo Negative's return to form. Like, I remember that, and people were like, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. And then it leaked. And people were like, what the fuck is, like, this can't be real. This, like, I really remember that leak, and people like, no way, like, they're fucking with us. Like, they put this out, it's a joke. And then it actually came out and people were like, oh, fuck, it wasn't a joke. Like, what's wrong with them? But I think, again, that was like shortly before he died, like a couple years before he died. I could be wrong on my time.
They did an album after that, too.
Did they? Okay, I couldn't remember if they did an album after that one or not.
Dead Again was...
yes.
They had, I think, Rasputin on the cover.
Okay, yep. That's sounding familiar. But yeah, no,
it was released 2007, so it was 3 years before he passed away.
Yeah. Okay.
But hey, at least he had the two really solid albums.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bands don't get that, Paul.
No, a lot of bands don't get that.
First times on this podcast. Sometimes they're just one and done. Sometimes they get the one hit, and then it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, Joe, that's so let's go back to Tribulation. Yep. Would you recommend that album?
Absolutely. I think I think it was really good. So
yeah, I'm with you. I would completely recommend that album, especially if you're listening to this. This is coming out on October on Halloween. So I would completely recommend that album to listen to after you're done listening to this and enjoy your Halloween festivities. That album will definitely be playing outside my house. Joe, would you recommend Typo Negative?
October Rust? As I got older, I don't enjoy it as much as I did when it came out. I mean, that's just because I'm older now. Mm-hmm. Some of the stuff I don't relate to, but I still think it's solid. The weird intro and outro is, hasn't translated well into the streaming era, but there's a lot of good songs on here, so I would recommend it.
So yeah, I funny you and I are in that same boat. I remember liking Typo Negative a lot more, and I remember having fonder memories of this album a lot, beforehand. And I was like, God, what was it about this album that like made me really like it? Like, must have been my place and time or wherever I was. Probably, a lot of the horniness of it, but other things with the two mixed with that gothic type of thing. Our
friends are playing it all the time when we're all out and about, so there's probably some nostalgia in that too.
100%. I would recommend it. I will say that I do feel like it necessarily doesn't quite stand the test of time as maybe some other albums do. Not necessarily because of production, but I just think the style of it, there was that, as we talked about, that there was the grunge and then there was the post grunge, and actually they had such both short windows and for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, going back and listening to it, I mean, we've reviewed a lot worse than that album. There's definitely some things on there, and who knows? I mean, you may really enjoy that whole Transylvanian side of it. And again, I mean, it's a horny album, so you can. Those are fun because they just don't happen anymore.
Nope.
No. At least in the rock world. Thank God for black women R&B artists who are carrying the fucking world on horny music these days, because the world would be a much boring place if they weren't around doing it.
White people suck, man.
Joe, what do you guys got going on the Joe now? Because it's obvious not Tammy and the T-Rex.
No. We're finishing up Halloween month this weekend with Exorcist 2. That was an ill-advised movie on all fronts.
Exorcist 2, really? God damn, dude, that's bad. That's bad, and that's coming from me. And I watch bad movies. Like, that's one I'm like, I've seen it once. Actually, I've probably seen it 3 times, and that's enough for me.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd watch that 3 times, Paul.
Because I watched it like when I was really young, and I was like, oh my God, this is bad. And then I watched it again. I'm like, it can't be as bad as I remember. And then I watched it for the 3rd time because I had a friend of mine watch it, and I was like, dude, you can't believe how fucking bad this is. And yeah, so yeah, that was it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good, Paul. Not good.
No. All right, Joe. Well, you're gonna ask me what we're gonna do next week.
You didn't give me a chance yet.
Okay, I'll give you a chance now.
Paul, what are we listening to next week?
We had another fan request.
Who's this from, Paul?
This would be from one of our Canadian listeners.
Canadian, eh?
Canadian, eh? Yes.
You might like it down under, huh?
Yes, our Canadian friends are putting another shrimp on the Barbie, Joe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Crocodile Dundee, Canada.
Crocodile Dundee for Dundee in Canada. You think that's a cheese platter? I'll show you a cheese platter. And we are going in our way back machine, sir. We are going to do Tears for Fears debut album, The Hurting.
All right.
Yes. So this will be our second fan review. And I don't know how much you're familiar with it or not. I have fond memories of it. So I'm, looking for it. I think if you're familiar, I will give you well, I'm not going to read it for you. No. There will be, if you're not familiar with it, there will be some things that you will be going, oh, wait a minute. I know, I've heard that. And you're going to know exactly where it's from. So yes. So again, as I will always preface with any one of our fan reviews, we are honest to a fault. So don't hate us if we don't like an album. If we are very real with the album, we will give you and be very genuine. And I believe that this fan knows that. As I was asked, hey, with what's going on, will you guys still take fan reviews? And I was like, sure, I'll still take fan reviews. So there you go. We will be doing The Hurting.
All right.
Are you familiar with the album, Joe?
I'm not saying.
Okay, fair enough. Joe, do you have anything else you would like to discuss before we go?
No, I don't. I do not, Paul.
I do. I have a PSA.
Here we go, Paul.
I have a PSA. I do have a PSA. It is. By the time you guys hear this, there will the next
time you guys hear this, we'll be gone.
We will be gone. We will be dead. Let's not forget. I believe Joe will be releasing this out on the 31st. If I'm not it's getting close to voting season, guys. So please, if you're in the States, go out and vote. Voting is one of the most important things you can do. It really is one of the big things you can do. And I will always stand by the fact that, well, the presidential time gets a lot more media coverage. It's a lot more sexier to sell. Really, it's the midterms that really make up the difference on who's writing the laws, what's going to happen in terms of people, where the fighting's going to be in terms of, is anything going to get passed? Is someone going to put up this bill and only have, and it's not going to get done because you got so much infighting. So go out and vote like your life depends on it. And that's what I'm going to say, Joe.
You know what, Paul? I don't appreciate your radical voting agenda being shoved down my throat.
You know what, dude? That's totally fine. But I have a white ass you can kiss. I
always have to bring race into it, huh, Paul?
I do. I always got to bring race into it. My white ass over here, you could come kiss it, because I will be in the voting booths doing my civic duty. But again, it's so important.
It's easy to vote too. Like I do absentee ballots, and you can track them and make sure they're counted for.
Yeah.
I did that. It's easy. It's painless. Secretary of State of your state's website, and they'll have all the information for you. And if you can't find it there, there's a lot of resources out there to figure out how and where to vote.
And here's the thing too. You guys, you can get out of work. Go vote, grab some lunch, and come back. You're allowed to do that. Like, absolutely. Your employer cannot deny you that. So, some of them will try to push you and say, well, can't you do it after work? No, I cannot. I need to go vote. So go vote, grab some lunch, and go back to work. You fucking earned it. All right. With that, Joe, would you like to take us out?
No.
This has been Rate That Album with Paul Muad'Dib and Joe Fremming. Thank you for listening.